The crossover is off and running. It is where In the Zone meets Open Mic, your two favorite sports shows. In this segment brought to you by the 13th annual Mikey Awards. Mike, I cannot believe that you are somehow 13 years into this event that started out as pretty much a joke and has become something that is so much more than that now.
Yeah, not I'm in the 13th year. We're in the 13th year, Kravitz, because you were there from the beginning, and now it's grown into what it's grown into. Yeah, it's coming up Friday, June 28th, a week from today, or a week from this Friday. Yeah, get your tickets, 969thegame.com/Mikey's. $40 for tickets, Kraz, but we're going to have a buffet this year. Free drink tickets comes with that price of admission as well. It's going to be a big time. You're there, right?
I'm definitely going to be there. I'm even trying to convince the family to come, make it a family affair. Got a text the other day that asked, I have a 16-year-old. Is it appropriate if I bring them? I don't know that we've hired any adult entertainment, so I think your 16-year-old should be able to make it without any issue.
Yeah, bring your 6-year-old too if you want to. Yeah, absolutely. So.
All right, Mike, I'm going to get us started. I heard you ranting about something the other day, and I could not disagree with it more, so I figured we'd yell at each other for a moment about that. Okay. Tiger Woods is receiving an exemption that allows him to play in signature events on the PGA Tour, even though I guess he would not otherwise be eligible because the man doesn't really golf all that much anymore. In my mind, he absolutely deserves it. You think he's being handed a free pass just because he's popular? I'll let you explain, and then I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Yes, sponsors exemptions are a part of golf. There's no question about it, all right? Regular tournaments have sponsors exemptions, but the PGA Tour made a point of having these signature events that you have to qualify for. There's no sponsors exemptions. The Arnold Palmer Invitational is a signature event. Sam Saunders can no longer play in the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Even though he's Arnie's grandson, he doesn't get a sponsor's exemption because that is a signature event. You have to qualify for these events. Only the best golfers in the world qualify for these events. But they're going to make one exception for Tiger Woods because of his lifetime contributions to the game. As I said earlier on our show, are you going to give the Lakers a free pass into the NBA playoffs because of their lifetime contributions to the TV ratings in the NBA? Stop it. You don't make a one. It's ridiculous.
Well, first of all, there are a lot more golfers that make it into a tournament than there are teams that make it into the NBA playoffs. I think that the analogy that would fit better is LeBron James at the very end of his career. Now, he happens to still be an all-star player, but if he's not in his final year, you still let him in because of his lifetime contribution, his popularity, and his overall greatness. I think that's what this is more like. These PGA Tour events are...
Wait. You let LeBron into what?
The All-Star game.
Okay, this isn't an exhibition. This is the real tournament. This isn't some exhibition game. These are the real events here we're talking about.
I understand, but let's also keep in mind, Tiger ain't playing in these anyway. So this is really just... It's more just lip service than anything else. Would you think Tiger's lining up to play in these events now because he's allowed to play?
No, he's not going to play in all of them, but he'll pick and choose. I mean,
yeah, like two. This isn't going to be impactful at all. And he's won on the tour 82 times. If anybody deserves an exemption, it's Tiger Woods. Do you know who the next closest golfer is? Active golfer in terms of PGA Tour wins. It's a popular name. You can probably guess it with ease.
Rory.
He screwed up big time on Sunday.
Rory
is the answer. Rory is like 60 wins behind Tiger Woods on the PGA Tour. Tiger is still technically active, and he laps the field. He should get an exemption for what he's done because there's nobody that's even close to what he's accomplished.
Hey, let's let 90-year-old Jack Nicklaus in as well, okay?
You know what? I would approve that too.
Of course you would. Of course you would. Speaking of popularity contests, all right. What and golf, all right. What's dumber? What's dumber? Caitlin Clark not making the U.S. Olympic team in women's basketball, or Bryson DeChambeau not making the U.S. Olympic men's team in golf?
I don't know enough about what qualifies you to be an Olympic golfer. I guess it's FedEx points, for which Bryson
No.
DeChambeau hasn't been.
Here, let me explain real quick. It's the official World Golf Rankings, which does not recognize, of course,
Live, right. So he's not
events.
he's not earning points, which is why he was ranked in the hundreds a year ago. And I
Right.
guess he's not, even though he's up, isn't he up to 10 now? So how is this?
Because of what he's done in the majors. I mean, he finished second in the PGA Championship. Of course, he won this past week at the U.S. Open. I think he finished sixth in the match. It's all because of his majors. The guy may be the best golfer on the planet right now, other than Scotty Scheffler.
Okay, I was gonna say,
and he's certainly the most popular player on the planet right now. And he's
also a turncoat, so maybe that's part of the reason why I have a hard time choosing that one. You make some good points, but Caitlin Clark is one of the best basketball players on the planet. We are seeing a rise in popularity of women's basketball, and the Olympics are about winning gold first and foremost, but second, it's a showcase of these sports. How can you showcase women's basketball and not have Caitlin Clark on the team? Now, she would be one of the last selections, I think, and people that know women's basketball could speak to this better than me. There are some superstar names that are at the top of their game right now playing professionally that are on that roster, so she's not going to make it above them, but I see some names on the tail end of that women's basketball list that you could certainly insert Caitlin Clark ahead of. I think it's ridiculous that she's not part of Team USA. Just think of how excited fans would be with all of the passion and fervor around her playing basketball, being part of the Olympics in Paris. It's a shame that we don't get to see that. Still be cheering on the women, but would have been nice to see. So my second one here, I'm not sure if I've already asked you this, but I'm going to ask you this at least in a different way. I started combing through UCF football's social media pages, and they're sharing all of these different sellouts that they have. It's already, I mean, it's only like June 20th, 21st, depending on how you're listening to this. UCF is selling out Colorado. They've sold out BYU. Now, I'm not sure how college football focused you are at this point, if you've read your Lindy's magazine yet. But I'm so juiced up for this upcoming UCF season. I think it's the most anticipated in the history of UCF football, and the only other one that would compare would be 2018. People didn't anticipate what happened in 2017, so the anticipation was really 2018 to see if they could go undefeated again. Do you think the anticipation for this year's UCF football season trumps that of 2018?
That's a good question. I do for this reason, because UCF is big time now. As much as they wanted to think that they were big time in 2018 after the undefeated 2017 season, they really weren't. They weren't going to get a sniff of the college football playoff no matter what they did in 2018, as we saw. I mean, they went undefeated in 2018, and they didn't get a sniff of the college football playoff. If they win their conference this year, guess what? They'll be in the college football playoff. So, yeah, and if you look at the schedule, the home schedule, even the road schedule, you're going to Gainesville to play the Gators in the Swamp. That's going to be a huge game. And last year, even though there was a lot of anticipation for the first year in the Big 12, I don't think UCF fans, I mean, they were just happy to be in the conference last year. They were going to be happy no matter what happened. This year, I think there's expectations. There's expectations that maybe they could win the conference. You got KJ Jefferson, a big-time SEC quarterback, leading the way. I would totally agree with you on that.
Yeah, you look at those schedules too, 2018 as opposed to what we have in front of us in 2024, Mike, it's not even close. The biggest game in 2018 was Cincinnati, and that was the game day game. But if you go out of conference, it was Pitt. You know, now you have the Gators.
Right.
It's and in Utah, which is now a conference game, but still, it's incredible between the conference schedule and the Gators being on there. Hard to rival what we have in front of us. What do you have for me?
All right, last one. You were on vacation last week when Trevor Lawrence signed his monster deal with the Jaguars. I'm not going to ask you whether he deserves it or not. I think most people agree that the Jaguars are just paying him based on potential. My question is, though, about your Miami Dolphins. If you're Tua right now and you're looking up the state and you saw that Trevor Lawrence, who hasn't accomplished near as much as you have in your career, and Trevor Lawrence is the highest paid or tied for the highest paid quarterback in the league. If you're Tua, are you playing this year without a new contract?
I would not. And it's because of how much the Dolphins would love if he did. I think that would be their dream scenario if they could get Tua to suit up without them having to give him this huge long-term contract where he was paid at least $55 million a year with all of this guaranteed money. You'd love to see Tua back it up, because last year was really the first year he looked like he could be an elite quarterback. Prior to that, it was issues with his play on the field. It was issues with his injuries. And last year was the only year where he's really answered those questions. The one thing Trevor Lawrence has done that Tua hasn't done, though, is won a playoff game. And I think if Tua would have accomplished that this past year, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. It would be all right. Everybody would agree you just pay Tua. The only reason why there's question marks is because he got frostbite in Kansas City and played like crap. So if you didn't have that in front of you, then I don't think it would be a question mark. But the Dolphins have been waiting a long time to get a quarterback as talented as Tua. And let's be honest, if you have a quarterback that's like Daniel Jones is the new barometer. If you got a quarterback that's better than Daniel Jones, you just pay him and you deal with the financial consequences. And he's definitely better than DJ. Would you agree?
Well, that is it. The crossover is now over.